Hello! Welcome back to our channel. I reckon I've already blown the microphone out with that. I'm sorry. Jacob told me to keep it quiet, but I just can't help myself.
No, you don't need to talk that loud.
Anyway, we are bringing back, sometimes, not every week, Thursday videos with all of the info about traveling Australia, tips and tricks that we've learned. I don't know, just bits of advice that we feel like we could give. We've been doing this 2 years as of last week.
Yeah.
Which absolutely blows my mind.
Crazy to think that we've just had 2 years living in a caravan. Well, not always in a caravan. We were in a swag for a little bit. But yeah, a hybrid camper and then swag, then a caravan. We just thought we'd put this thing together. We've been thinking about this video for a long time. We're going to tell you guys 6 things that we personally didn't need to travel Australia. And these items were things that people had told us we desperately needed to have, and we had these items, or we still own them, and we don't think they're worthwhile bringing on your trip around Australia.
Contrarily, we are going to tell you 6 things that we didn't bring that we have purchased in the last 2 years and we think are absolute necessities for you to travel around Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got 6 of each. 6 we didn't need, 6 we did need, and
Yes.
then you're going to come out like the smartest human beings on the planet.
Well, you're going to be ready, you know. I'm not going to tell you that you don't need a Ram and a 25-foot caravan because we don't have those things. These are specific items that we have.
Or had, and threw out, or sold, or donated.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're personal things.
What is that
personal
dog eating?
experience. It's gone now.
Okay. Starting with number 1.
Is a chainsaw. Now, I want to specifically say a petrol-powered chainsaw. We have barely ever used it.
Yeah.
We've got an axe and it works just as well. You know, we can pick firewood up and stuff around. Just having to carry bar oil, 2-stroke oil and fuel at the same time, especially when we don't have a boat anymore, is just a pain. We're actually carrying it around and it doesn't have any fuel in it. I don't carry any petrol, so it's just completely useless. And it was something that everyone said you cannot leave home without.
But obviously, if you've got an electric chainsaw,
Yeah, an electric chainsaw is a lot better because
it's
you don't
quieter, it's more lightweight,
Yes.
it's more practical.
if you really like having fires and stuff, then it's something that you could definitely take along with you.
So, number 2 on the list is a cool cabana. Everybody tells you that you need a cool cabana, an umbrella, something along those lines. But to be honest, we bought one and they're like not cheap. Were they like 100 and...
No, at the time they were like $250 or something.
And so we bought one because everybody was like, you need a cool cabana, you need a cool cabana. But to be honest, we always just use the car awning, or we use the caravan awning,
Yeah.
or we just wear hats.
We've used it twice in 2 years. And I feel like we specifically used it because we were like, we need to use the cool cabana.
And we actually spoke to our friends Ruth and Liam, and we were asking them about this video. And one of the things that he said was a cool cabana. And they have kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know lots of families are probably thinking, oh, but the kids need shade. But you car a lot of the time.
Don't get me wrong, they're a fantastic item and you might use yours all the time. When you're limited with space
I
and
think
weight.
the weight is the problem. Like, they're quite heavy. But I'm just thinking now on all of these things that we are saying we don't need or we didn't use or whatever. You're probably at home smacking your head against the wall thinking, who are these 2 idiots thinking that they are like the kings of going around Australia? Like, no, if you love your cool cabana, use it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying don't use it.
No, this video is specifically things that we didn't after 2 years of travel, things that we haven't. You might be different.
Anyway,
Alrighty.
we didn't need a cool cabana.
Number 3, this might be controversial, a HEMA, in specific a GPS HEMA unit. We have one, they're very expensive. We used it once and we tried to use it. I could barely figure out how to make it work. I couldn't zoom into any of the maps far enough to see exactly what the trail looked like. It's just so much cheaper and easier to download an area on Google Maps.
Or even I think that time we didn't have Google Maps and we actually just used Wikicamp offline maps. And I know that's
Wikicamps.
not very...
No, but
good.
Wikicamps was better than our HEMA.
I feel like you need a university degree to work out how to use that HEMA we have.
Plus we have Starlink now, and I've also found another little app called New Tracks. Gives you way better location and details of the track and the difficulty and stuff, and that's a free app. I know that the HEMA app is quite expensive. We do like the product HEMA, and we'll get to that later in things that you do need.
Number 4 of things that we absolutely did not need, and we started on this trip and we regretted every single minute that we had them with us, was 2 push bikes. We had a push bike each, and I reckon we used them maybe like 3 times in the space of 12 months. And we just decided to get rid of them because they were completely
ruined,
destroyed.
Yeah, I think we used them on the first few weeks of our trip until we hit the first dirt road. And then whenever you would ride them, they were covered in dirt, or there was dirt all in the gears and like in all the cables and stuff like that. Yeah, they were just destroyed from being on the back of our caravan. And it was just such a waste because they were good bikes. I've never thought really to myself now, geez, I miss those bikes.
To be fair though, Jacob has a skateboard and there's been times that he's used the skateboard. But if you think about how small in comparison a skateboard is to a bike.
I can fit the skateboard anywhere, it's just flat. Obviously weighs so much less as well. Maybe if you got kids, like kids bikes, again, they're going to get destroyed. Like those little balance bikes and stuff don't have much going on. Get some cheap ones from Kmart because they are going to get destroyed. For us, push bikes weren't a thing.
They were not it.
No, definitely not. Number 5 is spare tyres. Well, specifically 3 spare tyres. People told me that you needed to take as many tyres as you could because you would be blowing them left, right and centre. And when we left, we actually had 3. We have the car and van set up so that they are interchangeable. It's all the same size rim and tyre and offset. We used to have 2 on the back of our hybrid camper and then 1 under the car. In 1 year, we did do 2 tyres, but it wasn't like I didn't drive past a spot where we couldn't go and buy a new tyre. You can always repair your tyres, and just that extra weight of carrying like 3 spare tyres. 2 for sure. 2's great to carry. There is that chance maybe you'll blow one and get a puncture in the other one, especially when you're heading quite remote. But 3 is a massive overkill, especially if you've got good quality tyres.
The only thing that I would say to that is, like Jake said, they're all interchangeable. So maybe if you had dual axle caravan and they were different to the car,
yeah, maybe you could get away with that.
Then maybe you would need 3. I don't know. We obviously can't speak to that because we don't have that.
Yeah, we could almost get away with 1 realistically.
But we wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't, but I'd feel pretty
like
safe.
we were naked.
Yeah, I'd feel pretty safe though if we had 1. Well, I mean, we do. Our one on the back of the caravan has a plug repair kit in it. 1 good tyre, 1 with a plug in it. Like, I feel pretty safe to go anywhere with that.
You don't need 3, especially when you're short on weight. And then the last thing that we feel like we brought with us and we did not need, and this one I feel like is going to be controversial. Harry is going to be like, what the heck are you talking about? We got this amazing fire pit. Actually, it was just a King's fire pit. It was still amazing. Like, it still worked fine.
Yeah.
However, if we are going to have a fire, it has to be very specific conditions. Usually there's a fire ban because we travel in season. Usually it's really hot and we can't even have a fire. Secondly, we find that if we want to have a fire, there's already a fire pit there because it's set up to cater for fires.
We don't usually have that many fires just because living in our caravan and being on the road full time, if we just start smelling like smoke and all our clothes are smelling like smoke, it just gets a bit old.
And the thing is, you can't just go and have a shower and wash your hair because it gets really stuck in your hair.
Yeah.
And so then you go to bed and then the bed sheets are all smoky and then the whole caravan is smoky and then the washing basket is smoky and it's just like you're living in this smoky pit.
This is our life in our home. It's not our holiday. Like, we need to feel clean a lot of the time.
And you just don't have enough water to be showering like long showers, washing your hair every day.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to stay off grid for as long as what we do. But yeah, so there are our 6 things that we specifically had or have, and we do not need them.
We don't have any of them now.
Yeah, we do. We still have the chainsaw. We still have the Hemer.
Oh. Just dead weight, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to.
Does anyone want our Hemer?
Does anyone want our Hemer? Maybe comment down below and I'll send it to you.
No, I feel like you just don't need it, you guys.
No, one thing you do need though is one of these bog tats.
That's a good segue. I didn't know you were going to say that.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, we are selling these bog tats. It's a super easy way to support us and our channel by buying a hat. We love them. Everyone that gets them loves them. There's this colour and this colour as well. And I think they look fantastic. They're probably the most comfortable hat I've really ever worn.
if you can excuse my bald head, you can just see they've got like a nice little plastic clip here so they don't rust or anything.
And you can throw them in the washing machine.
Yeah, not banging around. But yeah, I reckon they're sick. This colour is limited edition as well, so we don't have many left. So get onto the site now if you want one. The green one we will always have in stock. Anyway, back to the things that we did need.
Number one of the 6 things that we did need, that we didn't have when we started our trip, was a ground sheet. A mat that goes out the front of your caravan door or out the front of your rooftop tent or, you know, at the door of your swag. Honestly, it is the best thing that we've ever had.
Yeah, definitely needed. We started off with just one from Super Cheap Auto, just like that classic, like shade sail sort of type thing. And that was okay.
It was fine. It wasn't ideal and it wasn't that comfortable.
No.
But then we got one from Intrigue. They just gifted us one. And honestly, we used to lie down on it every single day.
I know, it was so funny when we first got it. Because I know these mats are a bit thicker and they are harder to store. Laid it down and we were like, this is so big, it's crazy. And then within 10 minutes, found myself just laying on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I've never lay on the ground. And like, yeah, it was just, we just started spending so much more time on the ground. Like, just
And so
laying on
much
the
more
ground.
time outside.
Yeah, heaps more time outside. It was so good. And just nice to just be clean out the front of your caravan. Like, especially when you're cleaning the caravan, it's such a small space and you want to be able to pull stuff out and lay it on like a clean mat and then clean your caravan and put it back in.
We've got grub rugs, but it's nice to also have an additional buffer of like where the sand or the dirt can come off on the mat.
Yeah,
so you've got the mat and then you've got the grub rug and then you've got the grub on the step and you've got the one on the inside of the caravan as well. But in comparison to when we didn't have a mat, I reckon we have probably 90% less dirt coming to the caravan.
Yeah, heaps less. Yeah, it's so much nicer having that area.
Yeah,
out there.
it's just so good. And if you've got like a broom, you can just broom it off in the mornings.
So we just have like the titanium mat now, which we actually got off Jace. He had one and then he was getting a new one, so he gave us his old one.
Jace, for people who don't know, is the owner of Titanium. He just gave us the one that, like his second-hand mat. So we,
had a lot of food from his kids and stuff on it, so we had to hose that off. But it's well worth it. It's a beautiful mat that we have now. Very similar to that Intrigue design of the, what is it, like PVC or something?
I reckon it's like a recycled plastic maybe that they've just weaved through. The reason we didn't keep the Intrigue one, which we absolutely loved, was because this one's quite a bit bigger. So we have now got like a fully matted area from everywhere that we need to go to on this side of the caravan.
Yeah.
So if we need to go to the barbecue, we don't need to go on the ground.
Yeah.
Which is really high maintenance now I'm thinking about it.
But it's nice to not have to, like, especially right now we're in the dirt and I don't have to put shoes on to get around there.
Yeah.
So our next one we have, number 2, is our portable solar blanket. We're from Tasmania, so you don't really need that much power down there if you've ever been there. The sun is very strong and also it's so cold that your fridge doesn't really work, so you don't use as much power. But coming up into like the hotter climates and your fridge is working a lot harder and you're just using so much more power, having a solar blanket that you can put out in the sun and move around to capture the most sun, especially when there's trees around and you're getting shade on your van, is like a must. And we were running out of solar so much, and then eventually we ended up getting an iTech World, like 200 watt one was the first one we had. We've got a 300 watt one now. They're killer products. I've actually done a review on our 200 watt one, so I can link that video here. Like I said, having a solar panel that you can move around and get sun, all these things just make you stay at camp longer. It gives you less power anxiety. Just a great product to have if you don't have one. But yeah, like I said before we left, we didn't know that we needed one.
Well, we didn't have one.
No, we didn't have one.
We didn't have one for like the first 6 months maybe. We would never not have a solar blanket. It is starting to rain.
That's all right.
Great. Let's get this moving along. Number 3 on the things that we wished we needed and we now do have is a washing line. Now, I know at the start of the trip, it just wasn't even something that we thought about.
No.
We sort of just didn't even think how we were going to hang our washing up. We had like ropes going from every direction, which to be honest, sometimes we still do have when we have heaps and heaps of washing.
Yeah, we still use them.
However, we use something called the pegless clothesline. I actually have them linked on our website of all of the gear that we use. but it is the best clothesline ever. It literally is this big. It's got these bungee cords you just hook on to each side of the awning or whatever you want to use. But I know people do carry around like those huge...
Yeah, the big ones that set up.
Yeah, and
They're
I mean, if
okay.
you've got kids, I get it. You've probably got lots and lots of things to put on it. But for
Yeah.
us, start out with just a pegless clothesline and then see if you need more, because it is so lightweight. It is so durable. We've had ours 2 years. Yeah.
But yeah, I have seen a lot of people do as well. They put a stainless line through their awning, so they always have that little line. That's a good idea as well. Definitely.
Yeah. But you'd obviously have to DIY that yourself.
Yeah, DIY, yeah. And you don't fit anywhere near as much on that as what you would a little pegless
Oh,
clothesline.
you can put so much on the pegless clothesline because each hook you can put 2 items in. Sometimes I put 4 items in if I shove them in there, but it means that it obviously doesn't dry as quickly. But if you're there for a couple of days, it really doesn't matter. And if you're up north, it really doesn't matter because things dry like that. Get yourself a pegless clothesline or get yourself some kind of way to hang your clothes.
So our fourth one on the list is a way to transport water that's not in your caravan. So like a portable water source with more than likely having an external pump as well with it. When we first left, we just carried 150 litres of water under our van, and we just thought, that's massive. And I think we had a little 10-litre tank in the car. We just didn't really think about how we could transport water without our caravan. It just didn't cross our mind till we left. Sometimes you might park your van on a site and it might be an hour away from a water source, and you might be there for a week, you use your water, you want to be able to drive just your car in, pick up water and bring it back. Now, a lot of people use bladders. I think bladders are fantastic. What we have a 40-litre headboard tank in the ute, and then I carry 2 22-litre jerry cans. They're just those green plastic ones. So that's 80 litres of water, and we can go and get water and come back, fill our van up. Just makes life easier. It makes you be able to stay off grid so much longer. But yeah, again, something that no one ever said to us to take.
I think you don't realise that until you're on the road and you're like, shoot, what do I do about this?
That's one of our favourite little tricks that we have.
The more you know, the more you know.
Yeah, and we also just have this little water transfer pump that we use. And that's been handy for like washing the car and doing little things like that.
It's been so handy.
All right, we are on to number 5.
All right, number 5. This one was a blunder when we first left. We could not recommend comfortable chairs more than anything ever.
No.
Honestly, it is make or break for your trip. We were in the most ridiculous chairs for so long.
Yeah, just the classic. I think they were Ridge Rider.
Yeah,
and
not to drag Ridge Rider.
No.
It was just that they were the ones that you pull apart, and they're just like the normal camping chair style where like the material comes around
and the little cooler in the side and stuff like that.
and the where the leg was, it just, you would sit down and it would just rip and rip and rip, and so we had fully duct taped a full new bottom on it, and it just kept falling apart, and we were like, we're not going to buy new ones, and then we ended up buying new ones, and our lives were changed.
They were great. We bought June. I can't even tell you what ones they were.
They were the June 2, I think, that you can get from
Anaconda,
and they were
BCF.
like $50 or $60 each or something. They were really affordable.
Yeah.
But obviously now we've moved to these Stratus chairs, and we've not looked back. They're so comfortable.
Yeah, having something to recline like this is so good.
I think reclining is an absolute necessity when you're on the road.
Oh, it's so good back here.
Like, you just need to be able to recline and relax and look at the stars. And if I were you and I was going to spend a little bit more money on one thing in my setup, it would be to get a good camp chair.
Yeah, and you know what? You do not need a cup holder. We haven't had a cup holder on our last 2 chairs. I've never thought once to myself, geez,
I
wish
needed
had
a cup holder. And actually, you know what? I find the cup holders to be a little bit unreliable.
Yeah.
Like, you sit down and then they spill and blah, blah,
your chair
blah. You
falls
just put
over,
it
you
on the
spill.
ground, or you put it on the bench
table.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly
So
right.
I wouldn't say, but actually, to be fair, Stratus have bought out like a new little caddy for these chairs.
Oh,
So
really?
you can get like this thing that straps on, and it's got like the cup thing on the side.
Oh, I
it's like a
haven't-
little storage
I
bin.
haven't looked at them. We'll link them below. They're probably
Yeah.
cool. I haven't looked at them.
Yeah. So anyway, if that's something that you're interested in, then check out our website because you can get them there. But get yourself a comfortable camp chair. What do you think, Hazy? She agrees.
She loves this chair.
Jacob usually sits on the ground and Hazy and I usually sit on the camp chairs.
Alrighty, so coming in at number 6, our last one that
What? You mean number 6?
Number 6
Dummy.
is, we touched on this before in the things that we didn't like, and like I said, we didn't like our HEMA, but we absolutely love the HEMA book. When you're traveling around and you're trying to explain to other people where to go, or people are trying to explain to you where they went, for example, it's really hard to sort of show on your phone and just get a grasp of the area and how far things are and stuff. But having a paper map with you that you can get out and show people and you can draw on, or people can draw in your book and say, go here, take this road, that kind of thing, is just, it's invaluable. The HEMA book that we've had has been so good that we actually lost ours. We left it at a friend's house and we just went and bought another one.
If you're an OG and you've been watching for long enough, it was Deb and Tony who we did Mitchell Falls with.
Yeah.
We left it at their house.
Yeah.
And so Deb and Tony are now nursing our HEMA book. But we bought a new one. And actually, here's a quick tip. If you want to buy a HEMA map, this is just the savvy galley inside of me trying to give you like a discount. But if you want to buy at BCF or Anaconda, because that's where they sell them, make sure that they do a price match or a price beat on it, because they're like $60, and I think both times we've got them for less than $40. So don't pay full price because you'd be silly. Make sure that you ask them for a price match.
Yeah,
and then you'll end up paying like $35. So anyway, that is really worth doing. Make sure you get yourself a HEMA book and price match. Don't pay full price.
Don't.
Because it'll make me really mad. But then we do have a little bonus one.
We've
given you a little bonus one because recently we have had a new addition to our caravan, and I don't think I could ever look back. It is 2 toilet cassettes. We used to only have 1 toilet cassette, and we used to fill that bad boy up pretty quickly.
You used to fill it up.
Yeah, okay, let's not go into that too much.
Yeah.
But we now run 2. And
so much better.
It means that we can stay in campsites a lot longer. Because if water is not a problem, the thing that's going to be a problem is a toilet cassette.
It's finding a dump point. So
Yes.
finding water spots is a lot easier than finding a dump point. And going to a dump point that's not just like rank as well. So staying away from the dump point as long as you can is the best thing ever. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everyone because obviously not everyone has toilets and they might have composting toilets.
If, though, and we've not ever used a composting toilet, if we had our time again, we would get a composting toilet.
Yeah, I think we would like to try one out.
Yeah, sorry if for the last 5 minutes you've been listening to Hazel panting, but
Yeah.
I mean, she's happy here, so who can deny her of that?
So yeah, having a second toilet cassette is sick, especially for people with kids. Apparently they fill them up a lot quicker. I don't know, I don't have kids. I was a kid once though, believe it or not.
We have this kid.
Yeah, she doesn't really fill our toilet up though.
We're still trying to teach her toilet training.
It has been so sick. Especially for example like Perth, there is no dump points that aren't just in caravan parks. Perth itself as a city just doesn't have like an available dump point.
There's one about an hour south, but then I think if you're going anywhere east or north, they're a long way.
Yeah, it's so annoying, and a lot of caravan parks will charge you to like drop it off there.
Yeah. The only place that does have heaps is the Ningaloo Reef. There's so many dump points, but they don't have water to help like
wash it down.
But
Still, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah. Good on you, WA councils.
Yeah. Good on ya.
Good on ya. But yeah, so that wraps us up. I hope you really enjoyed this. And so let us know down in the comments, guys, if you guys have any other ideas of things that you don't need and that you have or you've taken on your trips and you've decided this was silly, you know, you were sold into them by people on the internet selling you things. Yeah, just let us know in the comments, and then other people can look through the comments and stuff. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe.
And like the video.
Yeah, we're trying to get as many subscribers as we can. When you subscribe, it helps YouTube push our videos out to like other like-minded people. And that's what we want. We just want to create a community of like-minded people like yourselves that come watch our videos, have a good time, and yeah, we can chat to you guys in the comments.
And Hazel will be here every single week.
Every single week. Alrighty guys. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks so much for subscribing. We will see you on the weekend.
They won't hear you, babe. You don't have a microphone.
We will see you on the weekend.
You have to...
No, it'll work. It'll work. They'll get the gist.
All right. Ciao.
Let us know if you have any ideas for future midweek
Yeah.
videos because we want to bring them back.
Yeah.
Let's bring them back.
No, we
Let's
don't have
bring
enough
them
time.
back.
And so let us know down in the comments.
We do. We have time. Hazel said she's going to edit them.